The data network is filled with data that you can easily reuse and republish on your portal. Imagine a local authority who is launching its open government data portal. In addition to the data collected internally from its various departments, they can use the data network to find ideas of other data to publish. After all, many territory-level organizations and federal administrations publish general interest data that can be filtered on many administrative levels or by themes. Let's look for data published by OpenDataSoft. When we open the US public schools dataset on the data network, we see that we can filter the data on by city and by state. If we're in the state of California, we can offer this data on our portal, filtered for our territory. We could have exported the source data to publish it from the export CSV file, but by doing that, we would have to manually export the data on a regular basis to keep the data updated. Instead, by republishing the dataset from the data network, the datasets will be automatically updated. Let's go to our portal's publishing interface. Let's select the OpenDataSoft network as a source. A window then opens, showing all of the datasets in our network. Now we can look for the data we want. To do this, we need to enter short and concise keywords. We identify the dataset as the one entitled US Public Schools. Instead of selecting all the data, we'll filter it so that we can pull only the data related to the schools located in our territory. The data is then added to our portal. It's an exact copy of the original dataset. Now we can move on to configuring the dataset visualizations. These steps are very similar to any dataset configuration, except that you don't have access to the processing tab. Remember that the data is essentially a mirror of the source dataset. It is connected to a dataset originally published by a different entity, which means that you cannot edit the raw data. But you can override the dataset's metadata and visualizations. Let's start with the main piece of metadata, the title. Be sure to save as you go so that you don't lose any of your changes if something goes wrong. Personalizing the metadata may seem tedious, but it is a very important step. Take time to personalize it based on the filters you've applied to your data. This way, it will be easier for your users to search for, view, browse, and reuse the data. In the description, indicate where the original dataset came from and insert a link. Then, update the theme and keywords based on your internal classification system. You might also consider changing the dataset's geographic coverage. As a result, the data no longer represents all of the United States, but only the state of California. Also take time to update the license and reference. Override the reference with OpenDataSoft as the data source. That way your users can easily refer to the source data. For example, you can add the dataset's URL and then save it. It is also important to customize the visualizations related to the data. Here, we are choosing to leave all the fields in the table visualizations. We'll simplify the map view, however, so that it is more interactive. We'll also change the map background and the colors of the markers. Right now, the analysis view is not very interesting because it only shows the count of public schools per city without ranking them. Let's override it and change some parameters. We can change the graph type to bar chart, show 10 cities, and use our serif ordering. That way, our graph shows the top 10 cities with the most public schools. Finally, we'll configure the dataset security settings. Uncheck the button that limits access to the dataset so that it becomes available for users of your portal.